Things are heating up. There is a Say No to Suno protest. Things are happening in California. We're going to talk all about what that means for us and why it even matters. So this is super interesting. Say No to Suno protesters. This is happening in California at a conference. They even circled a plane with a Say No to Suno banner above the conference hotel. So this was a Santa Monica AI conference. Basically, they're like, look, this is a big problem. Suno is AI. This is an AI conference. We're going to make ourselves known, and we want to say, this is absolutely not okay. And if you look at this graphic here, it says 5 billion to Mikey, nothing for artists. And what they're saying is Suno's valuation is $5 billion now. So they are making a truckload of money on subscriptions and their business model. And they're just saying like, look, we're not getting anything. What about the royalties that we just got, a $10 check for? So this is the tension and the conversation that's happening is, hey, look, they're making a ton of money. Artists aren't making a lot of money. And so we're going to make ourselves known here. What we're dealing with here, though, is not just about money. I know that that's a really great conversation. It's a really great headline, but I think what we're dealing with here is consent. We're dealing with artists who are feeling ripped off, artists who are feeling a little bit at their core like, am I offended? Am I offended by Suno? And you can answer that question for yourself. But what I hear people saying who are on the side of, you know what? Suno is making me really mad. Well, they're offended because they have built their life's work around refining their craft, refining their art, right? They have spent decades and decades, hundreds of and thousands of hours refining their craft. But their music is put in the same monetization pool as somebody who created a song from a prompt. So if you're in that camp, I hear you and I hear what you're saying and I understand where you're coming from. And I think that that's what we're talking about here is that people are maybe offended, but then also it's honestly like, I want to be able to say no if I want to. I just want to make sure that I am able to consent if my music is used to train the model. Now, I just had a conversation with somebody. It was actually really fantastic and enlightening. And we were talking about Suno and talking about how, it is training the model and there's derivative works and, all the things. That's kind of a big ball of mess, right? It's just like, who knows where it's going to land? We don't know. It's just a massive argument and a massive mess. But what we can talk about over here is the consent part of it. If somebody doesn't want their music in there, they should be able to say. I wonder if there's a new monetization strategy and opportunity coming to independent artists. Maybe licensing your music to Suno. Because what about other platforms that are trying to do this right? They're trying to say, hey, we're only gonna train our model on licensed information, licensed data, licensed songs. And so in that regard, there was consent. So if you think about the sync world, you think about how you write to a brief. You're like, okay, well, it's gonna be a movie, it's gonna be a TV show, it's gonna be a sports commercial, right? I just had somebody I was chatting with who created for a sports commercial. And so you've got this brief that you're writing to, and you could actually choose to just write an album for sync. Like, I'm not gonna release it anywhere else. That's the monetization strategy there. Or if it gets licensed to a TV show, etc., then that's where that song lives. What if it was the same with Suno? I don't know. What if down the line it was like, well, no, I just wrote an album for Suno and they licensed it from me because it's training their model. That's kind of fascinating, actually. We'll see. I think that the concern is less about just AI in general, right? Like, let's just call that out. I think everybody would agree, and we get it in the comments here all the time on the channel. AI is here to stay, and it's a fantastic tool. I think that we should use it because it is going to make us faster, it is going to make us sharper, and it's going to make us better. However, when anyone can generate a song in seconds, and then it's put in the same royalty pool as the people who have spent years and years and years and years honing and refining their craft and tens of thousands of dollars producing this album, then the question is, well, what's that going to do to the royalty pools too? What's that going to do to the monetization and the royalty streams on the flip side? And we don't actually know. We're still waiting. And so that's why there is this fight to protect art. And so if you're coming at it from this other side of like, no, I'm a Suno artist and I think it's awesome, but I don't understand these people over here. Well, maybe this can help you understand a little bit. You should be aware. You should be aware of what you're doing and what you're signing up for, because you're signing away a lot when you use something like Suno. And so these people who are like, say no, don't do it, they're just trying to prove a point. Simply, hey, we would love to get paid as well. Let's figure out an option to do that. And it makes me think of all of the strikes with actors and actresses in the film industry, however many years ago that was now. It feels like forever ago. Or what about audiobook narrators? There's this person that I follow on Instagram, and she makes her full-time living being an audiobook narrator. And people are saying like, AI can do that. And actually, she's like, no, actually book writers, authors, they don't want an AI reader on their audiobook. They want a human. It's so interesting because my husband was working on writing a book, and the team was figuring out the narration for the audiobook, and they tried to use AI for the narration and it got flagged. It wouldn't let them. The system, Amazon actually would not allow an AI narrator. And so there definitely are still checks in place and blocks in place where you couldn't even do that if you wanted to. The big companies, a lot of them are saying no to AI and to Suno in a certain way because there's too much unknown for them to just open up their doors and say yes to all of it. People are just trying to fight for art. They're trying to fight for the preservation of the art creation process. If Suno can be a tool in that process, that's great, but know what you're signing up for. There is this whole beautiful side using something like Suno as well, or using AI tools, because there are so many artists, musicians, producers using AI actively. And actually, we just wrapped up a 4-month cohort called our AI Essential Series. We talked about all of the latest up and coming tools that are so useful for us as producers in AI. You can get songwriting ideas, you can have, vocal cleanup or stem separation, or you can do mixing, mastering, all those things. And it's also a learning tool. You learn what it did, and then you can be a better, stronger producer moving forward. If we really zoom it back and we think about, all right, what's the big deal? So we talk about the protesters, we talk about the preservation of art, and we talk about the beauty of AI on the flip side, and then we talk about consent. None of this is about Suno. It's not about one company. It's about protecting ownership. It's about making sure that artists, as musicians, as producers, we take this and it's like, okay, zoom out. Zoom out and think about your world. No matter which camp you land in, no matter whether you're over here, you're prompting Suno songs, or you're over here and you just cannot stand it, I want you to have ownership of what you create. We're thinking about copyright, we're thinking about protection, we're thinking about ownership, and that's exactly why I created a free training for you called Who Actually Owns Your Music in the AI Era and What to Do About It, so that you can know how many streams of revenue can I actually pull from one song, and how can I make sure that I'm collecting on them, and how can I make sure that my songs are protected. Because here at Produce Like a Boss, we are all about helping musicians, producers, and artists produce, protect, and profit from their music. And so if you want that free training, it's linked below. You can grab it and watch it right away. And it's going to help you with the 3 gaps that most independent artists have, and they don't even realize it. And it's totally fixable because it's just an admin problem. So check that out next time you've got a few minutes to spare. It's not about Suno, right? We get a lot of people coming in like, man, you hate Suno and it's blah, 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 whatever. It's not about Suno. The fact that we care so much about you as artists and musicians, I want to see you maintain your ownership. I want to see you build a life in music that you love. I want to see you profit from your music. Hello, wouldn't that be amazing if you didn't have to have a day job, if you didn't want one? That's what I want for you. As somebody who thinks big picture and 10 steps ahead, you've got to think about owning what you create, making sure that your registrations are in line, and making sure that everything has its proper paper trail, so that when you use AI, because it's not if, it's when, whether it's Suno or some other platform, you're going to use it in some way, that you're protected and you know your ownership. I don't hate Suno, and I think there's a lot of people out there who really love it and think it's a great platform. So whether you're on that camp or you're on the Say No to Suno camp, the takeaway is pretty clear. Just make sure that you own what you create and understand what protection mechanisms you need in place, and then let AI take you farther than you ever thought you could go. Sharpen you, help make you faster, more efficient, so you can make better music and ultimately make more money and probably have a lot more joy in your life in the process. That's all I've got for you today. We'll see you in the next one. Now remember, if you want to access my free training called Who Actually Owns Your Songs in the AI Era and What to Do About It, just click the link in the description below and you can get started right away. You're going to walk away with confidence in your ownership and the protection of your songs so that you can make more money.